All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Duncan Alderdice, and in this series, I make short videos in the morning as I walk and talk through the thoughts I'm having as I try to put my life back together again. In this video specifically, we're gonna do something, switch it up with a different thing, even though it's really cold right now. Let's talk about the review I have of Backrooms, kind of, which I went and saw yesterday with my brother and mother. I would say I was really fucking impressed with it. It was really good. Like, it was kind of horror-y, though I'm not sure if it's full-on horror style. That's just kind of the closest category that you can kind of put it into. But I really liked it because it felt like a very original idea. Also, if you haven't seen Backrooms, I guess the quick premise of it is there's this guy who did this creative thing on YouTube where he would make VHS animations of, like, they're called liminal spaces, like spaces that seem familiar that aren't, like the back rooms of a storage facility or whatever. And then there's so kind of an adventure that occurs there for this one guy. Guy discovers there's the portal into the back rooms, and then there's stuff that happens there. But so it's super cool what happens during it, because I wasn't disappointed by it being filled with cheap jump scares. Like, it was good at actually kind of setting an atmosphere. I thought that it was well done in terms of, it felt like there was a resolution to an ending, but then wasn't. But then there was enough room for interpretation. It's a plane. Can you see it? I'm hoping so. Enough room for interpretation so that anybody could have their own sort of personal thesis on what they thought it was. Like, also there's gonna be spoilers, but so I thought that it kind of was an allegory or analogy, whichever the right word is, for like the physical manifestation of someone's psyche, of like the guy who's owning the furniture store. The Backrooms was like a metaphor for the unexplored territory of his own psychological problems that he had to go and then confront, and were slowly taking control of him and infecting the rest of his life in different sort of ways, which was kind of cool. And then that also had an intersection with his therapist, who also had trauma as a child, with her mother being an agoraphobic in all that sense. And then so those two things sort of interlying, and then it kind of bended the laws of reality or whatever. Though what was interesting is because, this is very spoiler specific as well, is I thought as he was telling his therapist about the Backrooms and the map he drew and everything, she gave a shocked face as though she knew what she was talking about and had encountered that when she was a child. And then when he went missing or whatever and says, like, I'm going through the window, I'm never coming back, she then was going like, oh, I need to go find the Backrooms and help this guy or something like that. But that didn't seem to turn out to be the case. I really liked that it felt independent but kind of well done. And what I mean by that is, like, I think his name's Kane something, whatever the director who did it, I'm not good with that. He did a solid job, or he clearly had a vision, and I like that the studio allowed him to kind of bring that to life. Like, there was a direction with it. The thing I kind of wanted to explain a bit more would have been like what the actual backstory of the facility was, but then the more videos I watched online after watching it seemed to show, well, his YouTube channel actually has as well. Sneeze. That there was a lot more videos of that sort of thing with that backstory kind of explained, so that this movie was the first time me seeing it for myself, but actually was a continuation of the series he had already been creating for him, which is interesting. Also, I think I can feel there's lots of wind, so we're not going to go that way. We're going to finish the video on the trail. All in all, though, I can say that I really thoroughly enjoyed it. If you're thinking about going, and this doesn't spoil it for you, you should go and see it. If I did spoil it, my bad. But anyways, it just was, I think sometimes the movies I felt I was intention a lot, and then slowly learned that I could trust that I wasn't going to just be in a first-person view with a VHS camera that then switches to something and something scares me just to by making a loud sound. And then I just do not like that whatsoever. As well as it just, I said this already, but there's a million theories online on what the right of an explanation for it. But I think what it did a good job is playing to its strengths, that it had good visuals, but didn't lean too much into explanation. And I hope that it sticks with that. I know that like the path, that's a path we have not explored. It made me want to explore the Backrooms too. Like, it was really cool, the set design and everything. But it's interesting because it is another example. Recently, I know there's like the Obsession one, which are YouTubers who make just like sort of sketches or comedy sketches, but that have like had a smallish budget. I know Obsession was more like 750,000. This one was closer to 10 million, but that's small for a movie budget. And then both of them have surpassed 250 million in gross already globally. So that's pretty impressive. But so I think that that's a good movie, and I'm glad I went and saw it. A good time with my family. We went to a movie theater where it was like I don't know what they're called. They're called Cinemax, but they're not Cinemax. They're Landmark Cinemas, I think. Anyways, you get like a recliner chair or something, which is different. Though the fucking popcorn, I got a popcorn and a large drink that was just water because I was getting popcorn. It was $20 fucking. What is this? In this economy? So that was just a lot, but probably could have gotten something outside, but I wanted the popcorn. I just was aware of it, and I'm okay with it. So that is what occurred yesterday, and hopefully that's informative or interesting, or it's not. Next item of business is so today's Monday. I have a job interview in person Thursday. I take a train tomorrow morning, Tuesday, around 11 something. So then today, what do I need to do before then? I need to, because of the job interview on Thursday being kind of like show me like what you know about the product or whatever, I need to spend time today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, but we'll start today just to get something done, becoming more familiar with the platform, the website, so that I can show up actually knowledgeable to that. So that's one thing. Number two is edit videos. That's the kind of standard, but I think we can relax on that for the time being. Number three is I yesterday went to the team call for the AI automation group business thing that I joined, and it's good to actually see and hear from other people. I asked a question just to kind of get feedback on how to pick a niche, and it was kind of like talk to the people you know with businesses and see ways that you can help their business with that automation sort of thing, and then a niche will kind of emerge, which I like because it's similar in the theme with what I'm doing with this, which is like less about picking one, especially when you're beginning, which I am doing for both of these things. It's less about picking the right one, and it's more about doing something and then like getting information from the market and then seeing what is working and what isn't, and then do more of the stuff that's working. But start finding it by doing something. So need to do that. And then there's I have a job interview this afternoon, and I have to pick up dry cleaning. Those are just tasks for the day. But I think overall, what I'm just like, we're getting close to being potentially back. Because if we learn that the job wants us, then we can start looking for apartments. I've already booked a cat sitter to drop the cats that are currently in my apartment out because that's also what I'm doing this weekend, which is this coming weekend is gotta turn back. What I'm doing this coming weekend is packing all the stuff up and putting it into a U-Haul. But so yeah, I think the other thing, just in terms of stuff, is these videos are starting to come out. think there's like 7 or 8 now on the books that have been published. The first one's doing way fucking better in terms of the good like metrics than the following 6. That possibly because of the title being better, could be being a dormant YouTube channel reactivating. We don't know. The viewer retention on the following ones is far better than on the first one. Like the first one has like 5,000 impressions, 217 of those converted into views, about like, it's closer to like a minute, with like 16% average view duration. Whereas like the ones that follow are closer to between like 2 and 8 views, but have viewer retentions around like 50 to 75%. So that's interesting. I think the YouTube algorithm is sophisticated enough that it needs to figure out what it is that I'm producing. And since I've done this before and stopped, I might be tainted and hurt by the fact that I have started before and stopped. And that information is kind of muddying the water in terms of telling the algorithm what it is that I'm doing, so it doesn't really know. So there's just more stuff that needs to happen. And I'm thinking about maybe changing the titling for the first and the following ones, but I think what makes more sense at this point is to get a larger sample size, like have the 30 videos published, wait a week, and then do an analysis. And then from that numbers, make an informed decision to change for the following 30 days. And then again, because I think there's no secret. Everything online is like all over the place, but it's not specific to the situation that I'm in and what it is that I'm doing. But those general principles still can apply. But again, to particularize and make a overall, just like, this is good YouTube advice relevant to you. There's no silver bullet. There's just like 1,000 golden BBs, which means you still have to do the work of trying something, seeing whether it worked, and then adjusting accordingly. So that's exactly what it is that I'm going to do, because there are other channels which I've mentioned earlier. Like there's one guy, Christian. No. Christor. Christian is one guy, yes, but there's another one which is Christor, who I don't know what his accent is, but it's not English first. But he is like, it's just like day whatever of trying to following Alex Hormoz's advice until I hit whatever KMR. And he just kind of talks through like a talking head. No real thumbnail. That's only the title. And nothing particular incredible about the videos, other than the fact that like it's just him talking. And I mean something incredible like he blows up a car, and then it's like, okay, well, I can understand why that's getting attention, you know what I mean? But he consistently across all his videos, and didn't stick with it like for every single day, but like went for a week, but now is on day 30 something, but has like between like 800 and 2,000 views. And so it's like, okay, well, and he just started the channel, and that's all it is. So then it's like, okay, well, clearly the algorithm knows what it is that he has. And because he knows what it is that he's doing, then the algorithm can match his content with the type of person that would want to watch that, and then has cultivated following as a consequence. And then so what I can take from that is, what I need to replicate is finding a direction, finding the audience, but step one before that is doing a bunch of stuff and getting a bunch of data points to see what's really standing out and what's working, and then do more of it. So that's what's going through my head, and I appreciate you sitting to the end and watching me talk through this. And I know you know this already, but I'll say it again. That desire is what drives you forward. The pain you're going through is necessary. That is why you need to believe in yourself, because you're more capable of doing great things than you give yourself credit. Lean in, aim up, and move forward. Yes, you can. Yes, you will.